Hey, welcome to my channel or welcome back to my channel. I haven't really gotten a schedule figured out for this channel yet, so I'm going to do a mid-month roundup of what I've read for January and what is on my TBR for the rest of January. So my goal is just to read at least a book a week for 2026. So that'll hopefully get me through like at least 50 books by the end of the year. But I've noticed for January, I'm actually beating that pace a little bit and reading about a book and a half a week. So that's exciting. I guess doing a book to book talk channel is motivation to get more reading in. So this month I've actually read I guess right now it's a duology. I don't know if there is an intention to write more books in this series. But I started off January with The Book of Doors on my Kindle. This book I didn't really know anything about when I started it, but I really enjoyed it. It is not a romantasy, so there's that. But January is kind of like a palate cleanser month for me. I ended 2025 with Onyx Storm, and like I need a little bit of a break between my romantasy series. I'm not sure how some of you guys go from like one series to another that's like heavy romantasy and you get really like attached to these characters and like you fall in love with your MMC, and then it's like the series is over or you're left on a cruel cliffhanger waiting for book four. But I don't know how you just jump right into another romantasy series and then start that process all over again. I need some books in between that are like not part of a series, are not really romantasy. I mean, there's like some romantic story elements to it, but like not the hardcore romantasy like the Fourth Wing series. Um, I need a palate cleanser in between. I mean, it's kind of like going for a rebound boyfriend right after you've read a series. So The Book of Doors was definitely the start of that for me for January 2026. I needed something different. So The Book of Doors is a story about a girl who finds a book that lets her open any door in the world and walk through it. And it leads into this whole adventure with um, these other folks that know about these magic books. I don't want to give you any spoilers because that's a horrible thing to do to somebody, but Book of Doors was great. There were so many elements and so many characters and so many plot points that came together for me anyway in a really satisfying way by the end of the book, and like elements of the story that didn't even necessarily need to have closure to them had really satisfying closure to them without giving you too much away of the story. It was a good read. I really, really enjoyed it. So since I enjoyed that so much, and since it was one of my Christmas gifts from my Amazon wish list from my family, I read the second book in the series, which when I put it on my Amazon wish list, I didn't realize The Book of Doors was the book that precedes this. And that is The Society of Unknowable Objects. This one, both books by Gareth Brown. This one was not as complex as The Book of Doors. There weren't as many pieces going in different directions, which may mean that you like it more. I kind of liked the complexity of The Book of Doors and like the pieces that came together at the end. The Society of Unknowable Objects is a very similar type of story about people who look for different objects that can do different magical things, and the adventure of, you know, trying to stop somebody who's using them for nefarious purposes. I still definitely enjoyed this book. It was a good read. The characters are fairly likable. The only thing that drove me a little crazy about this book was the main female protagonist, because I felt like she was like a little flighty, like a little too love at first sighty with like a character at the very beginning of the book, which turned me off a little bit, but the story itself was very good. Society of Unknowable Objects. The Book of Doors I thought was better. This one, still really good. Both of them kind of can stand alone as their own stories. Like, you don't have to read The Book of Doors before you read The Society of Unknowable Objects, but definitely worth reading if you are just looking for a really quick read. If you're looking for a break from your romantasy series and you need a palate cleanser between your series, these are definitely some good ones to pick up. So The Book of Doors, The Society of Unknowable Objects, both by Gareth Brown. I thought I would only have gotten through these two by now, but I actually last night finished James, which was pretty good book. It's not going to be everybody's cup of tea, like, definitely. This is a retelling of Huckleberry Finn, from the slave Jem's perspective. So this book, definitely some trigger warnings of some SAs that happen in it, but it's definitely a look at slavery and what it means to be a man and to retain your humanity when you are being oppressed by slavery and trying to find yourself and to escape slavery. And definitely a good read. If you are at all interested in retellings of classic stories, this is definitely one to pick up. I mean, it is obviously an award winner. It's got a Pulitzer Prize. It's got a national book award winner. But James by Percival Everett, definitely one to pick up if you're looking for something with like a heavier topic. It is still a super fast read, very fast paced. If you ever had to read Huckleberry Finn or ever wanted to read Huckleberry Finn by Mark Twain, for your English class or just because it's a classic piece of literature, this is definitely one I think to pick up and experience. So glad I read it. Little tougher topic, but definitely worth the read if that is something that interests you at all. So James, definitely worth the read. So those are the 3 books that I've managed to read so far in January. Trying to pick up the pace a little bit on my reading just because now I'm reading to do YouTube videos and TikTok videos. But definitely not trying to, kill myself getting a lot of reading done. So last night I finished James and I started the next book on my TBR for the month of January. This one's an older book, so it may not be on your radar. It is Darkly by Marisha Pessl. It's kind of a strange book so far. Not sure if I'm going to like it. I'm only, I think, 2 or 3 chapters in. It is about a high schooler who applies for an internship at a game company, a video game company called Darkly. The founder, the creator of the company has died. And they're looking for, young high school students to come do this internship. The internship is marketed as, just doing things that like regular interns do, like cleaning up the office, doing kind of secretarial paperwork type stuff. So the main character so far is applying for this internship and hoping she gets it. But there's not a whole lot that I know about this book other than there's going to be a whole lot of like digging into the history of Darkly and unraveling mysteries around the company and the games. So again, not a romantasy if that's what you're looking for from these book reviews. January is my palate cleanser month again. But this is, I'm also a video gamer girly on the side when I'm not reading. So this one's kind of right up my alley. A book about a video game company and kind of mysterious, like trying to figure out what's going on with the company. So this one's my current read. And then before the end of January, I would also like to read Wayward by Amelia Hart. This is also a slightly older book that's been on my TBR for a while. I am trying to go through some of these. you know, this year. I mean, I'm definitely not going to read all of these this year, but I'm trying to get some of these read this year because my TBR pile is growing. And I'm not ashamed of that, but it's growing, and I need to actually read some of these books. So Wayward is about several generations of witches, and like the inheritance of this cottage that gets passed down, I guess, from generation to generation. And it's kind of weaving together the stories of these women into one kind of overarching narrative. It is an enthralling novel of female resilience and the transformative power of the natural world. So this one is going to be my read after Darkly for January. And then I'm trying to kind of figure out what else I want to add to my TBR list. I don't know if I will get through Darkly and Wayward by the end of January, but I'm trying to figure out what is going to be next off of my shelves to read. I'm also looking for recommendations. I think I'm ready in February to start my next Romantasy series, or even maybe a Romantasy standalone if there's one out there that I should read. I do have Quicksilver, and Lightlark is up on these shelves. Quicksilver's on my Kindle. ACOTAR, I think, is on Kindle Unlimited, or I have it on just on my Kindle as a purchase book. What should I read? What should I read for my next Romantasy series? I've heard some good things about Lightlark. I've heard some not so good things about Lightlark. ACOTAR seems to have books. For those of you that don't know the acronym, ACOTAR is what is it? A Court of Thorns and Roses. That one seems to have books still coming out, but like the main storyline seems to be finished in the first like 3 or 4 books, and the rest are just kind of like additional points of view and storylines. So I might be okay with that one. Quicksilver, I think I want to save until like October, November, because from what I understand, the last book in that series is coming out in November of this year. So I think I want to start reading that one later in the year once all of the books are out, so that I don't have to deal with these heartbreaking cliffhangers like Fourth Wing put me through in December. There are a lot of good Romantasy series out on Kindle Unlimited, which I definitely appreciate because I have a Kindle Unlimited subscription and I should really be utilizing that more often. One thing I really appreciate about a lot of book recommendations, both on BookTube and BookTok, is that a lot of the books that are recommended in people's videos are available on Kindle Unlimited. So I very much appreciate that, because at this point, I think I would rather read books that fall under that subscription than add additional books to my physical collection. If I really love the series, then I will go out and buy like the nice, you know, sprayed edge, you know, pretty copy of the books to have in my collection. But I really don't think, other than like birthday, Christmas presents, I don't think I want to add too much more to my physical collection other than what comes in my monthly Book Loot subscriptions, Book Loot Crate subscriptions. Those I just really like to get because I like to get presents from myself in the mail. But those obviously will be physical copies of books that also get added to my collection. But yeah, so let me know. Do you have any recommendations, Romantasy readers, of what should be the next series that I read? I mean, like I said, I've read the Fourth Wing series, but I don't think I've hit any of the big ones. Like, I haven't read Anathema. I haven't read, what's the other one? Like Nocticadia or whatever that one is. I'm woefully behind on a lot of these series. So definitely leave me a comment. Tell me what I should read in February for my next Romantasy series. Other than that, that is what I've got going on for January. Those are the books that I've read so far and the 2 books that are left on my TBR for the month. I look forward to giving you book reviews on Wayward and Darkly, probably the beginning of February when I go over my TBR for the month of February. But let me know what I should read next. And if you have some standalones that aren't Romantasy, or even if you have like a duology or a trilogy that's really good that is not Romantasy that I should also start reading in February, especially if they're available on Kindle Unlimited. Let me know in the comments. I love a good book recommendation. But that's going to be it for now, and I'll see you in the next video.